Welcome back to another video. My name is Chris, as always with me,
Liam.
and today we are diving into Disney's Daredevil, Born Again. We are on episode 4, and man, did this episode flip things upside down inside the new Daredevil universe. We were watching Kingpin slowly descend back into the dungeon, if you will. We'll get to that in a minute. Back into the evil side of himself. We're watching Daredevil rise back up to the hero he's supposed to be. We got reintroduced to Frank Castle, and there's more mysteries happening in Hell's Kitchen that we're going to talk about. So, without further ado, if you have not already subscribed, go ahead and do so. Click the notification bell so you don't miss another episode. And if you want more access, behind the scenes, shout outs on videos, you can go ahead and join our Patreon for as little as a cup of coffee. You become a member, and it really helps us out with these videos. Without further ado, let's talk about this episode.
Yeah, so White Tiger. It opened up with him at the morgue. He's dead, but his amulet was still there.
Very, very interesting to me that they put so much emphasis in the first, couple episodes on how this amulet is so powerful, and it's the thing that gives him this magic and this power, and yet they killed him and then didn't take it.
Ignorance.
I don't know.
No?
I think that was just a mishap on the writer's behalf there. Or just made it an easy way to give it to the niece. Or it's a niece.
Is it niece? Okay.
Yeah, because she becomes the actual next White Tiger. But she's also aged down in the Disney Daredevil. So I don't know if we're going to see her don that outfit in any new, season 1, 2, or 3, right? She's too young.
So you think Matt Murdock is going to take her under his wing?
No, I think she's just gonna. You can already see where she's coming from. You're seeing her plant these seeds in the beginning of the episode. Mm-hmm. She's like, "I'm no mathematician, but I can make 1 + 1 = 2." Like, I understand that the cops are corrupt. They killed him. He was doing the right thing. So she's already showing those seeds of hey, I see injustice and I don't want to let it stand. And so she's going to somehow. I don't think Matt's going to be the person who personally trains her, but she's going to pick up the mantle of White Tiger.
Yeah, but she has so much rage in her, and the fact that we got the Punisher brought back into this, I'm thinking she's going to go down a darker path at first.
We'll see. I don't know if that would be a very big, leap from any kind of comic book origin of that particular character, but it wouldn't be the first time people put a spin on something. I
didn't read those comics, so I was more of a collector and never open them. Person,
it's in there.
Yes, they're safe.
By no means am I a Marvel comic historian, right? By no means I want anybody to think I have all the lore. But as far as I understand it, White Tiger is a force for good. Has been. It's not he's not an evil character.
Doesn't have to be evil, because look at Frank Castle. He's not an evil person.
He's an anti-hero. He's not technically a hero.
Okay, fair enough. You don't think the White Tiger can go that way?
Like I said, it could be. It'd be interesting to see a different spin on some things. But yeah, I don't know. Let us know what you guys think down in the comments.
So, Kingpin.
Yeah, I think watching his arc, parallel to Matt's all the time, because, they are that angel-devil, reflection of each other, has been really fun to watch. And I was right. Kingpin does have Adam in a torture chamber. That's what I knew it.
You were right about that.
Because his knuckles kept showing up bloodier and bloodier. They weren't healing. There was always fresh blood on them. So he was going somewhere and getting, his anger out.
So when we saw this, for him just eating in front of him, every time we saw him eat a meal, was this supposed to be representative of that?
No.
So every time we saw him sit at his plate, the first episodes, looked healthier stuff. This episode was more gluttonous.
Correct. That is supposed to be that's intentional. That's a direct reflection of him going back into his evil self. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So the reason I was asking was every time he had those plates, it didn't show around him as much.
It does in the one where he's eating the egg whites. It does pick up and show that he's in a very formal dining room where he's in a dungeon eating all that big stuff. So
yeah,
and it's also
or is that cheat meals?
Classic. It is a cheat meal, right? Classic. Kingpin is huge. The man is he's a mountain of a man, right? He's a huge dude, and so Matt's been kind of teasing him oh, you lost a lot of weight. Oh, you look skinny. And so I think what we're seeing is like, as Kingpin slowly is losing the ability to like maintain this facade of being a good guy, you're seeing him wear down, like the way they're singing to him, and he's like slowly like breaking, and then he has to hit the red tape, and he doesn't like it, and like he initially feels like there's a leak in his organization. He goes right back to being the criminal instead of the mayor, and like although he does see a lot of himself in that Daniel character. So when Daniel stepped up and like took integrity for the fact he screwed up and owned it and did all the things he did, like I think Kingpin was like, all right, I like this kid anyway.
I think he saw himself in him.
100%, yeah.
Before it to that, I want to rewind a little bit. Him and Vanessa, Kingpin and Vanessa, are still in therapy, and before we even saw that Adam was still alive, they were having the discussion, and he was extremely reserved with what he would say around his talk with Adam.
Yeah, and he didn't want to hear it, honestly. He was like, do we really have to talk about this? Because I think
He would have had to admit what he's doing.
Well, he also has to own up and talk about the pain he's experiencing because of that situation.
Yeah.
And
Is he doing that, though?
No, that's what he's running from. That's why he's saying he won't talk about it.
I thought he wasn't talking about because he's got his wife there. He's got the therapist who is dating Matt Murdock, right?
Yeah.
And he is doing something illegal and doesn't want to admit fault because he's the face as the governor right now.
I don't think he's worried about that.
You don't?
No, I don't, because to him, no one knows about that. That's completely hidden. All he has to do is just sit there and lie, which he can do very well.
No, that's my point. He's avoiding the truth, though.
He's not going to go to therapy and actually confess his sins. No, he's not going to do that. The man is there would be no way that a person would be able, it'd be like a Tony Soprano situation. Do you remember The Sopranos?
Yes.
Where he had the therapist who had to sit across from him and like listen to all that deep shit without going to the cops, and then eventually fell in love with them.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that particular scenario for HBO, that would never happen. The guy would get sent to jail.
Okay. The reason I was bringing it up was it's like he likes the idea of Vanessa being back in the good graces, but without him showing his true self.
Okay.
Even though she knows all about this stuff, because she poked him. She's like, that's all you're going to say?
Yeah. I don't know. She's just as evil as he is. So I don't know if she's just like, I think she's just trying to get him to like be himself again.
So after that session, the therapist goes and asks Vanessa if she feels safe.
Yeah.
Did you see how long it took her and the smirk she had because she realized how much power she had in that moment, and she chose to be like, nah, I feel safe. They'll never hurt me.
I don't know if I saw as much relevance to that as her like recognizing power as it was like she knows that she is powerful. She is the boss. Fisk is at her whim. Like he'll do whatever she says to a fault. I mean, and so I don't know. I think she laughed in that moment because she perceived her to be weaker than she is. But I don't think it was like a recognition of power. I don't know. Did you guys grasp like a deeper meaning from that conversation? Or was it just like a traditional therapist is going to ask that question and Vanessa took it as like a way to be like, no, everything's good. Even though we all know, she is as powerful as she is.
I think she really contemplated whether she could just get rid of him at that point.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I just didn't read into as much as you did because it seems like you
I read too much.
You took a lot from that little conversation there. I didn't take from it, so I'm curious. What did you guys take from it?
Let's talk about that scene with Castle.
I think that was the real therapy session of the whole freaking episode.
We call him out on his guilt.
Fuck yeah. He wouldn't even say Foggy's name. And then he punches him and he's like, sorry. I didn't want to do that. And Frank's like, that's the first honest thing you've done since you showed up. And I honestly, for me, the best part of Daredevil is the casting, right? John Barathol as Punisher, Matt Murdock, Fisk, all of them are just like the way that they are portrayed, the actors portray them is just phenomenal to me. Mm-hmm. And so to have the self-medicated, self-destructive veteran, Frank Castle, who's
Can't
also
relate to any of that.
who's also like secretly plotting something. He had the full conspiracist board going in his little den there.
We've got that for some of our marketing stuff.
Yeah, you know. So for me, I think that was probably like one of the I think this was the best episode yet, to be honest. There was a lot of stuff that I really enjoyed about it. One of the best scenes was the Frank and Matt scene where it's basically just like a vigilante therapy session where they're calling each other on each other's shit.
He stole the show for this episode.
Yeah.
Even just with that short little interaction that we got.
I think I've been wanting him to show up so bad that I also would agree. Like I wanted it so bad that I'm like, yes, this is here.
Yeah.
But no, man, just like him talking about the spirits of his family and the voice of his son and like what powers him and why, like what's going to drive him ultimately to take these other fake Punishers out because they don't have same vengeful
Fanboys.
Yeah, the fanboys as he called them. I don't think even though he was like super nonchalant about it, I have a strong feeling that it's going to go more comic book origin where like Punisher truly does not stand for anybody trying to be him because no one can be him because no one has his pain.
Mohier was also like, what do you want me to do? I'm not doing shit.
Yeah, I think he's secretly plotting shit. Like that's what he's going after someone. And I think that maybe he's already working it out and he just doesn't want to get Matt involved.
He's always going after someone. He has the veteran mind, mission oriented. If you don't have a mission, you're lost.
Well, he said it in this episode. The thing that drives him is the voice of his son, and his son's voice is literally telling him, take down those who are avoiding justice and put them in the ground. All of them. So like, if he sees that, he literally has this voice, a son of his voice of his son, there you go, that's the sentence, in his head being like, hey, you have to do something about this, and so he's going to.
Yeah, and where Matt is still on the kick of justice through the system.
I think we're starting to see, that's what I think this episode was really awesome in reflecting.
Was shifting that point.
We're starting to see it shift for everyone. You saw, as Fisk descends down into the dungeon, you see him almost like shed off the mask of good and like settle into that evil. And he walks past that painting from the previous season that like has his blood smear on it that he used to stare at for like hours and hours at a time, and then walk down to this gluttonous plate of like what we would see the Kingpin eat, and then to see that he's actually enjoying this gluttonous, indulgent meal while listening to the screams of his enemy, the screams of those who have wronged him. And I'm sure when he's done eating, he gets up and then beats him until he's content and then goes back to his life, right? So we're watching him descend, but at the same time, we're getting cutbacks to Matt, who, just slept with, what's her name there, the therapist, leaves her in the bed, cuts away up to the roof. We get to see an awesome display of like several different iconic uniforms that he wears, including the one that they gave him on the horrible She-Hulk show. And then we get to see him train. So it's still in his mind, right? Like we're starting to see him move that way where it's like, if he wasn't ready to be Daredevil and he wasn't thinking about taking on the mantle again and like having that burning desire inside of him to wrong the injustices, he wouldn't still be training and sharpening those skills, right? There would be no need to.
Mm-hmm. Well, he also just recently had the interaction with the corrupt cops too. And he ran into the one in the courthouse, right?
Yeah. He was corrupt, correct. But he wasn't, based on the whole interaction and the heartbeat and all that, was not involved in the actual killing of White Tiger.
Correct.
Yeah.
I was just getting at the whole corrupt part.
Very corrupt, yes.
Yes. Not so good, guys. And I kind of like Matt Murdock using the horn that fell off that he got from his friend. What's her name again? The blonde.
I know. I can't think of it.
Foggy's friend.
I know who you're talking about.
I know you do. I'm just helping add other names, hoping it would come back.
I know her real name, Deborah Ann Wool. I do not know her name in the freaking show right now for some reason. Tell us in the comments, guys. Help us out. What's her name?
Brain farts, right?
Yeah. Ooh.
But I like how he is playing with the horn piece that she gave him that fell off. He's kind of like using it as a worry stone. I like that he's carrying it around as a symbol of what he gave up. And I also think it's only doing the opposite and pushing him closer to it as well.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the reasons why she gave it to him.
to
remind him of who he really is. Yeah.
So what do you think's coming up next?
Well, I'm really happy that we finally got Frank, or we'll just call him Punisher from this point on, but Frank Castle's finally, in person. We've got the John Barenthal version, which is what we've been looking for, waiting for. And what I'm excited about is that it's not just a cameo.
Yes.
He will be a integral part in taking down what is building up to be one of the enemies anyway, which is, the fake Punishers and all the things that are brewing in Hell's Kitchen behind the scenes right now. Because we also haven't talked about it all. The Muse. Yeah. Right? Who is just like skulking through the subway throughout the whole episode. And then we see him, basically getting his paint because he paints in blood. So he's draining the blood of his victims and using it to create these murals and stuff. So
the one mural that he did was reminding me like Two-Face from Batman.
The split. I thought that was really cool.
It was.
Yeah.
But it reminded me very much of Two-Face.
I get those vibes. Yeah, for sure. But I think it's also a direct mirror of Fisk's journey in the episode as well, right? Because he's starts off still as like this mayor who's trying to do good and make the city look better, and he's talking about making Red Hook nicer and like cleaning up the shithole and stopping the gang violence.
You kids were wonderful. No, I'm sorry, I gotta go. I'm sure you guys would have done perfect, but again, I want you to remember you were wonderful.
Yeah, you could see him like falling.
He wanted to shank someone there.
Listen, I've got young kids. Sometimes go into those concerts. You're there because you love those children, not because you love the music. That's for sure.
God, that was torture for me as well.
Although, listen, my parents banned me from doing playing hot cross buns on the recorder in the house because they started going like twitching from hearing it when they gave it to us in school when I was little. So I get it, but I think what we're going to see now is we're steaming halfway through, right? We're about to go to episode 5. We're really picking up steam into bringing in some more characters, such as Frank. And so what I think is going to start happening now is Muse is going to have more of a spotlight in the next couple episodes, where he won't just be this background villain doing stuff. It's going to be like, oh, wait, like we got a bigger problem here. Frank will team up with Daredevil eventually. He will redon the suit. I think that won't be next episode. It'll probably be like episode 6 that he actually officially puts the suit back on. I think it'll have to do with this Powell guy jumping him. Because he said, next time I see you, it'll be worse for you. And he's like, well, you better bring more guys than last time. And he goes, all right, we'll see. I think that is going to happen. Here's my theory. Total theory, have no idea if it really is going to play out this way, but I think this is what's going to happen. Powell and the other Punisher tattooed cops are going to jump Matt, while Matt is still just Matt, right before he dons the outfit. He's going to be like on the verge of losing because of the sheer number of people, maybe the instruments in which they brought to bring on violence to him, right? He can't dodge bullets forever, and he definitely is still immune to getting shot. Like, he can get shot, right? So Frank's going to show up. Frank's going to fucking lay waste to those guys. And that's when they're finally going to be like, hey, got it. We can do good together. And they're going to team up. And then ultimately, that'll be like where we go with that. But it's going to be because Frank saves his ass that they actually start working together.
I've got that one TikToker in my head that does all the skits of all the branches. Nick Ortez.
There's a couple that do it, so I don't know which one. Is it the one that does the Space Force with the fingers?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, him. And Potato!
Yep, I know what you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, him. I've got him, as soon as you were saying that, I've got him picture in my mind, chewing on one of the crayons, just going, rah.
That's fun. Yeah.
Yes. So, super excited. We know Frank is about to destroy something, not 100% sure what it is.
Whatever it is,
doesn't
down
matter.
for the punishment.
Yes, let's go. We're excited for that. Kingpin gets his shit eventually. He's just gonna fucking snap. That's what I'm waiting for.
Well, I want to add one thing into that real quick. He snaps 100%. We all see that coming.
But doesn't lose control. He just becomes more bad. Is mine.
I think he doesn't lose mayoralship. He stays mayor. He just flexes more of that criminal muscle and squeezes those, like, the council members and the people. So there's no more red tape for him.
No.
He's got everybody, in his pocket or by the balls, basically. And so whether he's, giving you the carrot or hitting you with the stick, he's got you. And that's when you're going to need all the defenders to come together. and we'll see Jessica Jones. Predictions, obviously, theories. I don't have anything in front of me like, hey, this is what they're going to do. But yeah, but I think that'll be how we end the season.
Disney, if you want to send us some cool stuff so that we can see ahead in the season, we're game.
Yeah, we're absolutely. All right, guys, really appreciate you checking out this episode with us. This is finally, to me, Daredevil's finally getting some good stuff going on. The first couple episodes, with the exception of, Foggy's demise, which was definitely, an emotional episode, or emotional opening, I should say. The rest of the episode kind of went down from there. This is good. We're picking back up again. So let us know what you guys thought about this episode in the comments below. My name's Chris, as always.
Liam.
And if you're enjoying these videos, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we will check you guys out on one of these videos. We actually have multiple playlists you can check out. We have one here that has all cool, like, superhero Marvel stuff. We have a bunch of stuff here from Prime. We love Prime. They really push the edge on a lot of shows, a lot of cartoon, comic adaptations to TV series. They do a great job. If you're into that, we have a whole playlist of that stuff right here, as well as something else that YouTube just says you guys absolutely love right above my head. So check those out. We'll see you guys on those videos. Peace.
Find the strength hiding in each battle scar. You're not who you were, you've already come far.